Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 35 of Six Figure Live. My name is Ben Hartley with Style and Story Creative and Six Figure Photography, coming to you guys live from the Style and Story Creative office here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to go ahead and adjust my desk here to stand-up mode, Transformer style here. What's up, one person who's here with me today? So here we go, you guys. Today we're going to talk a little bit about getting the right timeline for your wedding day. I just had a meeting with the bride to discuss her timeline. It's a 2-day long wedding, and lots of information we had to kind of process and go through. There's lots of areas for pitfalls and kind of how we navigate that as a studio to make sure that we have the time to get the shots that we need. And so anyhow, we're gonna be talking a little bit about that today. We're gonna talk about how that begins with pre-consultation meetings. Les is here. Who else is here? Give me a shout out if you are here watching live right now with us. Throughout the rest of the week, by the way, everybody. So Mondays are just going to be kind of like our standard day. I'm going to kind of bring you guys behind the scenes of what's going on at the office, taking you through the kind of day in, day out tasks that we have at Style and Story Creative. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing a live editing session with you guys. And so we're going to kind of bring you behind the scenes of our computers and show you how we process, how we edit. And so we're gonna hook up with a couple shots that we've recently done, and then what I need from you guys is Wednesday. If you guys look below, I think maybe episode 33. Is it 33? Check that out for me. Double check. We're going to do a live critique with you guys. And so what I need you guys to submit images. We already have a bunch of images, but I want more. We want more images to be able to critique with you guys. And so Ben and Steven handled that. I was doing a full day mentoring session last Wednesday, and so I was unable to be a part of that for you guys. And so this Wednesday, I'm going to be critiquing some work. We're going to be discussing it. And so make sure that you check out that link once Steven lets me know.
Episode 33?
Episode 33. Check out that link, episode 33, you guys. I want to see some more images that we can critique for you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this thing around. We're going to do our little intro video, and we're going to jump right in. We're going to start talking about timelines, how we accomplish that, how we get the ideal schedules that we need in order to capture the work that Woo! So here we go. It's a Monday, you guys. Hopefully you shot a wedding on Saturday or Sunday, maybe even Friday. Just in time. Welcome, Don. So hopefully you guys shot a wedding this weekend, and you're back at it. And I hope, my gosh, I hope you guys that Monday was not a dread for you to get here into the office or to go downstairs and open your laptop or to go into the basement or the garage. Wherever you go, I hope that this Monday you were able to make a cup of coffee, a tea, just some water, and enjoy it. Get to work. You couldn't wait to get things started. That's how I think that. I mean, goodness, if you can wake up every day with that perspective that, man, like Monday can't get here soon enough, then you're doing something right. So that was me this Monday. We got in. Got some new shipment in. We got a couple prints back there. We got some new video gear in. And then I had a meeting with a bride of mine. I believe I shoot her wedding. I think it's in 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks. But this is a 2-day long wedding. It's a Cambodian wedding. And I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how we go about getting the timelines that we do, because it's so important. When you see the work that we're putting up, when you see the work that a lot of photographers are putting up that are absolutely killing it, this stuff doesn't just happen. I actually did an entire podcast episode where I talk about how to take control on a wedding day, how to actually accomplish the things that you need to accomplish, and so much of it begins with a timeline of actually going into a day with a timeline that's going to be working on your side, working on your behalf, so you're not fighting against it, with clear expectations on how you're going to actually do what you need to do. And so one of the first things I actually want to talk about is, for us, This is just kind of like a little side note. It's not scouting. We really don't scout. We don't even recommend scouting. When our couples ask, have you had a chance to scout this location? Have you had a chance to look at it? We're incredibly honest with them when we say, look, we haven't. We prefer not to. We prefer to work much more on the fly because the reality is that if we scout it today, like things are going to change. We might scout it at 3 o'clock on a sunny day, and the sun's beaming in, and there's this gorgeous pocket of light in this one area, and then on the wedding day, it's going to be cloudy, and that pocket of light isn't there, or rainy, or maybe now there's someone's kid's birthday party decided to set up camp at the park, and so we would much rather be able to be reactive and just go with what's happening on the day and actually capture the proper energy and the proper emotion based off of that day's circumstance. Additionally, we do a lot of destination weddings, and that's just something it's not realistic to be able to scout everything for a destination or for certain locations, and so. So for us, it's actually not about that. So anyhow, Katie's here. What's up, Katie Ranker? Your little girl is so beautiful. Anyhow, so it does begin though. It does begin at the pre-consultation. So much of what we're talking about here, you guys, begins before a client even books you. Begins with informing about the entire process that we take. And so we even begin at that pre-consultation meeting, and then we go from there. We have an entire email that we send out about 3 months prior to the wedding that steps a couple through. So many ideas, tips, ideas, thoughts, and then sample schedules. And so when I say tips, ideas, and thoughts, what I mean is we actually walk through what are the things that we are thinking about as photographers that if they can begin to align themselves with, will greatly help the quality of their pictures. And when you have clients who really value the photography, they actually take this stuff to heart. And so we talk a lot about, mixed lighting, believe it or not. And we're talking about it in layman's terms, so it's not all technical. We're not talking about Kelvin temperatures and 3200, 5200 daylight versus tungsten. We're just saying, hey, when you go to get your hair and makeup done, the best possible space to get it done is in a large, open, like natural lit window. And just turn off all the other green lights because we don't want you to look green in your pictures. When you're able to just say that, it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to look green in my pictures. So we start with some of these things. We talk a little bit about benefits of getting ready in a clean hotel room versus a cluttered room at your apartment. We talk just about some of the pros and cons there. There's a number of education that takes place in that email. And then as well, we break down 2 sample timelines that are ideal timelines. And these are real timelines that we've built out before. One of them is, the reason there's 2 is there's 2 different kind of ways to go about scheduling a wedding. And so one of them would be a first look timeline where the couple sees each other prior to the ceremony. And then the second is a more traditional timeline where they don't. And so we actually step through a full wedding of what does it look like, how does that time look, and showing where all the time goes exactly. And so a bride is able to see that, a groom is able to see that, a couple is able to see that and actually recognize what their day should be modeled after. Okay, you need to make it as simple as possible. And so to create a sample that they can model their own day after. So it's not enough that we send that to them. We first educate, and then we go and we've created a questionnaire that goes and collects all that information very specifically, right? And we're very leading with the way that that questionnaire is formed. And when I say leading, I mean we'll put questions in there like, what time do you want us to, a time, location, address to capture the details of the reception, right? So we're letting them know that we want to be able to get into the reception hall prior to guests and actually photograph this stuff. And sometimes we get questions back that say like, what do you mean? And we're able to, again, just educate. And so leading them in the direction that you want to take them with that questionnaire is really helpful. And it doesn't stop there. So once we get the questionnaire, then there's a follow-up phone call that usually leads to a meeting. And so that's what I just had this morning. It was about a half-hour-long meeting, and we stepped through every single step of the way of their timeline and just discussed how it's all going to unfold, making sure that there was actually adequate time. And then whenever there's not, because it's not always, rainbows and sunshine, sometimes we just get the clients or we get schedules that it's impossible to get that full 2-hour creative session that you want. And so whenever there isn't that time, it is again an opportunity to give them the expectation manage expectations really of what that looks like. You know, for a couple to understand that the pictures that you're shooting, the pictures that they're seeing, those are coming from weddings that have a 2-hour creative session. Those are coming from weddings where photography is prioritized and the time was properly invested. And so when they start cutting into that, just to kind of have the expectation be understood of what that can look like. And so anyhow, that's what we did, and it was awesome. It's going to be a killer timeline. It's 2 days, 2-day long Cambodian wedding. First day is going to be 6 hours. Second day is going to be 12 hours. And we're going to fudge that, and we're going to give them all kinds of gifts and show up with more photographers and show up for more time and show up early and stay late. And it's going to be incredible. But anyhow, that's what's up, guys. That's what we're up to. Other than that, I'm getting ready for a premiere date here on Friday. It's a huge one. Lots of editing is going to be going on. And then you guys, many of you know this, but we are holding our workshop, Abundance, Maximizing Joy, Meaning, and Profits, this December 4th. This is round 2. We sold out round 1 back in February. And so we're opening it back up to 12 other photographers. And so if this is stuff that you're trying to figure out, the client experience, the actual, what does it look like to bring a client through your contact form on your website, through that whole funnel, and actually a phone call, a meeting, what does the pre-consultation meeting look like, how to price, how to set up your packages, redefining all of your packaging and pricing system, to the delivery of products. The biggest takeaway, the hands down biggest takeaway from all 12 photographers, we did a whole survey, and the number one thing that photographers were taking away was getting to see a live pre-consultation meeting with a couple, getting to see a live premiere day, an album design session, a post-sales session. What did that look like? And we did that live with a couple for all the attendees, and it just like blew their minds away, to actually not just have me like tell you about it and to write it down and to send you a blog post or some bull or a book, but to actually sit in on a session, to even record that session. It's completely changed their businesses. So photographers, they're 2 and 3 timesing their businesses, their bookings, and their profits. And so you guys, I mean it. I 100% believe in it. If you're on the fence, just shoot me a message. Let's talk on the phone to see if it makes sense for you guys. Because this is what it is, and I think it'll change your business. And so anyhow, check that out. I'll drop a link. It expires Thursday, you guys. So the pricing is going to go up $400, and all the stuff is going to be going away on Thursday. And so Thursday is your day to get that all figured out. But let me send you over some information on it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a live editing session, and so we're going to edit some images for you guys. And please send in your own files for an image critique on Wednesday, and we'll see you there. Bye, everybody.